when I was writing my obituary, I was like, I don't want to put softball in it because that just sounds weird. Once I got to middle school, I realized that I wasn't as good as I wanted to be at the sport. I would go to hitting lessons every single day. And I loved it. I loved hitting. Once I got to Houston and was playing with hot shots, I was third string catcher. I knew I had a lot of room to grow. So it definitely pushed me hard. I mean, Coach White always says the bench is your biggest competitor.
Obviously, you've demonstrated this year that you had the potential to be as good as anybody in the world at that position. But at that moment, there were things that they knew that you just didn't know yet.
Yeah. For sure, and I think it came from experience, again, like, I played on a lot of the local teams, so once I took that big step, there was a big gap on where I needed to be, but I think my dad was definitely someone who pushed me a lot, he had a lot, of sacrifices he made for me, which was really awesome, and I wouldn't be here today without him. He hauled me into Houston every single weekend, maybe twice a week even sometimes, so he definitely wanted this for me, and he saw, some things that coaches, even I didn't see at times, and he pushed me to be a lot better.
I almost get teary eyed just asking the question because it's just such a cool. I know from living there, like wearing the burnt orange in the state of Texas is just such a thing of pride. Like, what does it mean for him, even from the freshman year up, just to be in the crowd at Texas and see that all of those drives that you guys did together paid off for you to be wearing those colors?
Yeah, it was huge for him, and my whole family. I mean, everyone was there, my brother, his fiancée, my mom, and I remember looking for them after we received our trophies and all the parents were coming on the field, and I just, like, run up to my dad and everyone was crying. So it was such a special moment for me and my family. I mean, I look at my relationship with my brother, who's, like, my best friend, and I kinda got to see growing up all the sacrifices that my parents made for me, and it kinda I wouldn't say he was, like, back behind, but he didn't play sports, so he kinda just followed us around, and I felt like that kinda pushed a wedge in us for a little bit, but now he sees, like, what it means to me and what it means to my dad, and he's just so supportive of me, so it's great having that, and it's kinda funny, like, you talking about the burnt orange. My family actually grew up A&M fans, so when I committed to Texas, my junior year of high school, it was a big transition for them, and just to see how it started from my mom's closet being completely maroon to transferring to Texas, and it's like she just loves it. So does my dad. So it's definitely crazy to see. Because I remember watching the college football games when I was a kid, and we were horns down all the way. So it's really cool to see my family. I mean, they're my biggest supporters, and I would not be here without them.
What made you know when you were kind of going through your process that Texas was where you wanted to be?
Yeah, when I walked on campus, I'm from a smaller area, so I hadn't been in Austin much. And when I walked on campus, it was just, I kind of like had this feeling that this is where I wanted to go. It was different, and I always like change. I like the different things. It just kind of excites me. So when I walked on campus, I met with the coaches. I think Coach Singh, he stuck out to me a lot just because he's so personable, and I could see him being able to create a relationship. I think having relationships with your coaches is very important just to be able to you're spending 4 years with them, you're in a new city, like, you have to be able to like the people you're playing with, like the people you're being coached by. So, it was definitely big for me, and I felt that immediately from the first conversations with them.
What do you think the toughest thing you've had to deal with in either your whole run up to this point in general as a softball player or as a Longhorn?
I'd say my freshman year, I was kind of in a little bit of a slump the whole year, so it kinda took a lot of my confidence, and after that, I just kinda had a, like, mind shift in what I wanted to do and how successful I wanted to be. I always wanted to be the best player that I could be, and I put in a lot of work towards that, so, after my freshman year, I really wanted to prove to myself and prove to the softball world of the kind of athlete I was. So I just put in a lot of work in the off season, lifting, and I knew that I was going to go out there and compete at my best, and I wasn't going to let anything put me down or anything take that away from me.
And when you opted to get strong, you kind of say you went into the weight room, you're doing all the things off the field that it would take for you to hit that next level. What were some things in your fitness routine in your nutrition routine that you really felt made a difference in helping you reach that next level between your freshman year and your sophomore year?
Yeah, the weight room was huge for me. I never really lifted in high school, so once I got to college, I was a little far behind on that. So in the summers and the winters, I trained with a really good coach down here in Corpus, and I worked with my strength coach in Austin as well. And we just created a plan to get me a lot stronger, get me more athletic. I felt like my freshman year, I was still a little, long, lengthy, didn't really move well. So I was able to kind of work into my body, get stronger to where I moved a lot better. I think that was probably the biggest thing athletically for me. Mentally, I started reading a lot of books, just trying to get my mindset in a good spot to where no one or nothing could take my confidence away from me. And I think that's what really helped me mentally was the books I was reading and focusing on just creating a good mental space to be able to go and compete. I mean, you look at softball and baseball, and failure is more than I don't know, you if you're hitting 300, you're doing good, so it's definitely hard to fail that many times and not let it get to you, but I took a lot of pride in just creating a headspace to where I could be successful within that failure.
What were some of the books that, that you read, though, that you really feel like helped grow you mentally?
My favorite was David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. I think that yeah, that's what it's called. That was one that I read last summer. Yeah, last summer, and that was just a big eye opener. I think it puts a lot of perspective on things, and softball's just a game, and I'm really, like I have a lot of family that was in the military, so that was, something I really connected with, and I like reading, just by authors who served.
You say you read a lot of military books. Did it help you understand your family better after you read the books? Because obviously you haven't served at this point. So was it a very valuable thing for you to read those books and then learn about that through the books?
Yeah, so no one in my generation of family has served, so it was definitely, just kinda crossed my mind. My family does work a lot with, military warriors organizations. We volunteer for them and raise money for them. So I've always been surrounded by, people who have served and who have shared incredible stories with me, and I've just created, a very strong value of, just service members and people who have served and risked their life for us. So that was something that had a strong connection with me. And it definitely made me put a lot of perspective. I think it did help my softball career as little as softball is compared to something like that. So I think it makes the game a lot funner when you know that there's just other things outside of this game that just mean so much more, and if you can put a purpose to it, it can be incredible, and I still hear from a lot of the guys that when I see them in the fall, because that's when we do a lot of our, volunteer service with them, they're all huge Texas softball supporters now, so it's definitely really cool, but yeah, it's awesome.
What you're doing on the field is a bright light for all of those people because I think that it gets underrated how often athletes in sports is the salvation to so many people when they're in difficult situations. They can see a team succeed like you guys did and then say, all right, my team won. Maybe it can help me a little bit. Maybe I can get that confidence in myself to do the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the young girls that come out to our games and have dreams and aspirations to go play at this level. That's something that I truly value as well. Is just being able to support the youth and have them grow up in a safe area that can just contribute to their life. I mean, softball brought me up, and I would not be the person I am today without the game. So that was huge for me. And I know how many life lessons it taught me and how it just shaped me into who I am today as a game. So that's something I definitely think about often. And when I'm having these conversations with people, it's so surreal to be able to stand in front of someone who like risked their life for our country. And just I've met Navy SEALs, I've met just a lot of incredible human beings that have just inspired me to just be the best person I can be. And on this stage is my way to shine that. So I definitely like to support that back to the youth and the girls that show up to our games.
Faith, we hadn't talked about it much. How big of a part of your journey has that been on the field in general?
Yeah, my faith is huge. I think it's a separate journey, but it kind of intersects. I have a lot of value in just I think that's the foundation of everything in life. My beliefs are very core valued on my faith, so is my family's. So it's definitely just something that I can step back on and just be present. And it's a bigger picture for me. So softball is temporary, and my faith kind of allows me to see that. I did a exercise with a guy named Eric Thompson, who I work with a lot with just like life stuff, like mental training. Just he's helped me a lot throughout my career. And it was writing your obituary. And it sounds crazy, but basically, when I was writing my obituary, I was like, I don't want to put softball in it because that just sounds weird. So like that was something that like really like connected me to like just kind of have perspective on like what the gain is and, like, how much it means to me. In the present moment, it's huge, but, like, in the real life aspect, it's my faith, it's my family that I'm really gonna wanna proceed life with. So, I take a lot of pride in, like, my studies and things like that, but it's definitely something that has kept me present and in the moment.
During your career so far, where there was a moment in the field where you really felt something greater with you? Probably multiple, but if you could pick one where, you really felt something greater with you out there, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, I think, God is always with us, so his presence is just it takes pressure off, knowing that my life has already been, paved in front of me, so that's something that just allows pressure to kind of just relax, but I wouldn't say there was a moment in a game that I'm gonna speak of, but there was a moment having a conversation with Tegan. I went through a pretty difficult summer last summer, just having to juggle a bunch of, hard decisions when it came to my softball career, and I was having a conversation with Tegan, who's also my best friend, our pitcher, and we were driving down the road, and I was like, "Tegan does," and she's also, one of my best friends in Christ too, so she's been on this journey with me, to kinda help grow my faith, and I asked her if, like, God gives us signs on, like, what we're supposed to do in life, and, like, I was faced with this incredible decision that I could not make, and I felt like it was too much for me, and she basically told me, like, to make a decision, and that decision will be right, because there will be at one point in your career that you'll look back and be like, "That's why God put me through that." And it was very ironic because, like, once we won the World Series, I was with all my coaches, and it was just like, "Wow, like, this is why that I went through that. This is why I was faced with these adversities. This is why my life had already had this plan, and it just made me so much stronger for that." So it was so surreal to be able to, like, share that moment with Tegan and with my coaches and just, like, looking back on the summer and just it was incredible. It was just such a special moment to know that, like, he was always there with me, he was always guiding me, and even though I had no idea what I wanted in my life, he did, and he knew the outcome before I did, so I trusted it.
What is it that you're looking forward to next year in the season other than getting drafted in your season, your last season as a Longhorn?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to just continuing to build these incredible memories, to wear the burnt orange for maybe the last time in a jersey, and I mean, wearing Texas across your chest is it's so much bigger, to me and to this team. I mean, it's such a privilege to be able to represent something so huge, and I'm just so excited to be able to create those experiences and memories while wearing that jersey.